This week on Previews World Weekly, we break down your top 5 everything, discuss whether or not the Japanese government could change cosplay forever, and get ready, brace yourself for the invasion of the Bernies. It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I'm one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day, and yet another reminder that Free Comic Book Day will be on August 14th this year. It is happening. It's a thing. It's just later than usual.
Yeah, there you go. So write it down, guys. Just write it down. I mean, Ashton, you're probably going to keep saying this until August, but yes, write it down. Remember.
I'm sick of saying it by the time it's August 14th, but I will remind you until I am blue in the face.
And we'll still get comments asking when is it. It's okay. Sorry. You know, one thing I need to figure out a better camera situation. I always go out of my way to get great shirts for the show.
Oh,
and then and every time I get on camera, I'm like, you can't even see the shirt. Like, right. What is the point of this? This is the one downside of not being in the studio.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have a special guest this week. I'm excited to announce Vampirella herself, Maki Roll, representing the Chop Shop.
Hello. Absolutely not looking like Vampirella, but I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for hanging out with us again. You've been on the panel before. And so, yeah, I'm glad that you accepted our invite to come in here and hang out with us for the hour.
Yeah, thank you for having me back. This is always good fun.
And it's January. Nobody's expecting to dress like Vampirella right now. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, not great.
So, Maki,
yes.
On the 10th of March, if I got that right,
yes.
You're going to be on the cover of Vampirella number 18. What can you tell us about that?
I'm super excited. It's always been kind of one of my bucket list things to be on a comic book. And so, there it is. It's right there. And I shot these photos actually about 4 years ago at this point.
Wow.
Yeah. So those are quite old photos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But they reached out to me via a mutual friend, and basically were like, "Hey, do you want to do this thing?" And I was like, "Yes, of course, I would love to do this thing." And now I'm on my very first comic book, so there is one other bucket list thing to check off.
I love that. That's awesome. No, I didn't realize it was 4 years ago. So the plan here is that we're going to do an interview with Maki in February to focus on this cover. So she'll tell us the story behind how it got made. You get some extra shots from here. But I had no idea it was 4 years ago. That's so interesting. That I'll have to ask you about that in the interview. Then that's actually pretty interesting.
Yes.
But yeah, you can get the Vampirella number 18 with Maki on. There's a bunch of different covers, but the cosplay cover features Maki Roll on it. It's out March 10th, and we will remind you guys again on March 10th when we do the show in a couple of weeks, just to make sure that you pick it up. That's available from Dynamite Comics at your local comic shop, of course. So, Maki, you've been on the internet. You know what's going on in the internet.
A little
bit, right? You've heard of the internet. So, I'd imagine it's kind of unavoidable, this Bernie meme at this point, right? Like, you've seen it.
Yes, I have.
Is there a tinge of regret in that? I don't know what was that sound?
I feel like I'm one of the people in the minority, because when it first started, I was more confused than like, haha, this is funny. And it wasn't until I saw a few really clever ones, there was him in place of the baby son from Teletubbies, and I was like, okay, that one's pretty funny. And then I had a few people meme some of my pictures, and I was like, okay, it involves me now, so it's funny.
Oh, okay, there you go.
But yes, I've seen the all-encompassing Bernie mania going on.
I swear, meme culture is so interesting. It's so wild what actually captures the zeitgeist, makes people to latch on to it. It's so weird. I feel like there's people who probably wouldn't even have voted for Bernie who are making this guy now. Ashton, have you seen any good ones online?
Do you know what? I've seen one of him in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon that was like,
Oh, that's
like
good.
high Bernie for me. That was like high marks. But do you know what? Like I'm developing like a weird anxiety where I'm like looking at pictures and like trying to find him. And I'm like, is it in here? Is it not in here? Like I'm being conditioned now to search
No,
for
that's good.
Bernie.
It's like where's Waldo now? That's yeah, I love that. Now we actually grabbed a few of our favorites, and I just want to throw these up on screen real quick. There's the one with Bernie.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And what's up with the rest of them not wearing masks? That's inappropriate, guys. What else we got here? What else we got? This is I love this one. The House of X cover, but with Bernie.
Oh my
Bernie
god!
instead of Moira. Like, yeah, I love that. I think that's hilarious. What else we got? That's Mark Brooks, by the way. This from this from the Vision. This is Tom Hodges art. Yes. What else we got? I love it. Me too. Everybody got in on this. This is so wild.
Yeah,
That's clever.
Funko, of course, got into it.
Yeah.
No, it's just it went from being, for me, it went from being funny to not being funny, back to being funny again, which I think is like, that's like the Family Guy rule, right? If you just hit it enough times, like it'll come back around full circle and you start laughing at it again. So you know what? Hats off to him. Like, I love it. I'm actually curious now what other really creative ones we get from moving forward. Maki, you're a cosplayer, right? You're internationally known cosplayer, right?
I am.
So I wanted to ask you, have you heard about the cosplay and this new copyright law that's going to affect cosplay in Japan? Have you heard anything about this yet?
I haven't heard anything about this.
Okay, all right.
But now I'm kind of afraid.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because I don't know necessarily if what happens in Japan it would necessarily default bleed into American politics, but the Japanese government is currently considering, and I'm getting this from Kotaku, God help us all, the Japanese government is currently considering changing the country's copyright laws so that professional cosplayers would pay for the use of characters. And this is all from Kotaku. They go on to say cosplay can be big business. Japan's most successful professional cosplayer, Inako, who's at the picture here, has made over $90,000 a month from public appearances, merchandise, photo books, chat sessions, and endorsements. Other cosplayers also earn cash for selling photos or clips of them dressed as famous characters. Creators don't currently get a cut, and the amendment would change this. So, moreover, suggested a standardized set of rules would help avoid any trouble with creators. Ashton, you made a very good point earlier that I actually wanted you to repeat before we started recording. You mentioned something. What were you saying about this?
Yeah, my big problem with this is I don't feel very confident that creators themselves would in fact get a cut of any of this money. I feel like it would go directly to the publisher. Like if you did a cosplay of like Rick Grimes, like is that money going to end up in Kirkman's pocket or does it just go to Image and sit there? So I think that's a really slippery slope.
No, absolutely. I'm actually really curious what you think about this, Maki. Like this is near and dear to your heart, I'm assuming.
I think this is an awful idea. Not only for the fact that that would completely cripple many cosplayers who have established this as a business or as a brand, or even just as a way to make supplementary income. I think that I think these brands have a lot of money already. And I feel like dipping into what even as this cosplayer who is making $90K a month, that's still, I feel, not even, a drop in the bucket to what these big name companies make. And I feel, I just feel like, that's a lot of just eyes that are looking at your product, looking at your brand. That's even more, that's a way for you to look towards this community that's obviously uplifting your community or uplifting your company, because cosplayers, people don't want to admit, but cosplayers really do a lot for certain brands. And especially, I know now we don't have a lot of we don't have any cons right now, but definitely like a cosplayer at your table or at your booth, especially someone who is dressed specifically down to the nines as your characters, that really like connects companies, brands in a way that nothing else does. So I think this is terrible.
Yeah, no. It's free advertising, right? Like that's always. DC, I feel like early on, especially when they started rolling out the Gotham City Sirens book, kind of doubled down on this notion that cosplayers are advertising our products, so let's start designing these characters and dressing these characters away that's it's not a word, but cosplayable, right? So like, yeah, it's just interesting to me that like any company would like try to like smack down the fans in this way. Like, yeah, it's just really bizarre. And I'm curious to see where this goes. I have a sneaking sensation, not a sensation, sneaking feeling that like, I have a sneaking feeling that eventually some cooler heads will prevail, and somebody in Japan, somebody in the Japanese government, or maybe one of these media companies more specifically, be like, no, this actually benefits us. This gets our brand out there, Yeah. So I'm 100% with you on that. Like, it's a very strange thing for them to be doing. So, all right, let me nuke my computer from a Kotaku article, and we'll move forward. So, all right, guys, it's What's the Comic Shop's time, and this time we've got Maki with us, so she's going to give us our pick for this week and what she's reading this local comic shop. Then Ashton and I are going to join in. Here's what you can get at your local comic shop. All right, Maki, you are our special guest, so we want you to go first. What is your pick this week?
My pick for this week is Agretzko Meets Her Friends 3. I love Agretzko. I feel like Agretzko speaks to me personally, even though I'm sure Agretzko speaks to everyone who kind of has had the kind of like office life, the cubicle life experience. And one of the things that I really liked about the show is that there are so many characters that are like constantly just doing the most. And I like that Agretzko Meet Her Friends kind of like goes into those characters and how they kind of add to Agretzko's stress, but also how they kind of are there to support her and how they show up for her. So I really have been enjoying just the Agretzko just comic universe in general, but especially Agretzko Meets Her Friends. And this is the one where she hangs out with her boss. So that's like super terrible and fun.
Wait, so is Agretzko like, is she a cat? Is she a fox? Like, what's
I forgot what she is, but I think she is a fox.
Okay, Johnny's saying red panda. Why did you know that, Johnny?
I'm just kidding. A red panda.
Okay, Johnny looked it up.
Sure, you looked it up.
All right.
Johnny, we know you got some Agretzko tchotchkes like laying around the house.
Okay, I shouldn't have to come onto the stream and interrupt this early to try and defend myself. I will turn this show around right now.
Benevolent mod, please don't.
I looked this up because our editor for Game Trade Media, our sister channel and station, Leona, she's a fan of Agretzko, and I've heard this before. So when Maki picked this, I looked this up, and I'm like, what is this? So I saw a little bit of the trailer from Netflix, and I see where she's coming from. And the trailer says specifically Red Panda. So I am not a fan, although after watching the trailer, I might be. And I might have to pick this up too.
There you go.
Don't judge me.
I like how he was aggressively like, I'm not a fan.
He's like, hold on.
No, it's okay, Johnny. This is a judgment-free zone, except for when we judge you. So you're all right, Johnny. It's all right. Ashton, what is your pick this week? What are you looking at?
Okay, so my pick this week actually isn't a comic, but it's okay. It's still available at your local comic shop. It is this series of Avatar: The Last Airbender enamel pins.
Nice.
So there's 8 of them total, and it's these guys, and then I think Johnny has the other 4, those guys too. So they have that like nice gold finish around the edge. Their backing is the color that corresponds to their specific tribe, except for Uncle Iroh, because he's an icon and gets to do whatever he wants, and we can't tell him anything. And it's interesting that one thing I wanted to point out that I thought was really cool is they went for like the season 3 looks for everybody, like because the way they look changes over the series, and everybody's kind of in their final form in these pins, which I think is really cool. Also, as you guys know, I'm Zuko trash, so I specifically was worried about the Zuko pin. And his season 3 look is the best. I love the shaggy hair, emo child, and I'm here for it. These are $10, and I'm very trying to figure out, like, am I going to spend $80 on this, or like which ones do I need? Because this can get out of hand fast.
It can. I mean, fortunately, there's only like 8 of them, right? They're not like Funko Pops where they could just potentially go on forever.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm with it. Okay. All right. Not surprising. Like, look, Ashton, clearly an Avatar fan. She talks about Avatar every single week. And
I just watched Avatar this year for the first
time.
Yes.
Okay.
What did you
I
think?
loved it. I loved it so much. I cried. Like every other episode, I was like, wow, a lesson. Right. It was so good.
Oh my God! But like when Appa's lost days, or they were like where? Right.
No one prepared me.
Right.
I cannot believe I went through that with no one telling me anything.
It's the worst. Like, it never gets easier. I've watched it all the way through like 3 or 4 times. Every time it's Appa's lost, and I'm like,
like, will someone please help this baby?
Right.
Actually, I think I watched it for the first time like last year too. Actually, yeah, I feel like I did, or maybe it was like late 2019. But yeah, for the first time, and I was like, okay, now I get what everybody loves about this cartoon. Like, absolutely,
yes.
So I actually need to finish it because I don't even think I made the 3rd season. So I will put that on my list of things to do. Yeah, I know, right? I know. It's too much TV. We talk about this all the time. There's way too much television.
Yeah.
Like, and
but you committed to this. You committed. You're like, I'm going to learn about these characters. I'm going to watch 2/3 of it, and then just stop.
I have a bad habit of doing that though. TV. I think it's because comics requires so much, requires so much of my brain that like 12-month arcs can't get replaced by like, I don't know, like 12 hours of television. Like, I just can't do it. So I kind of like rage quit. I won't say rage quit, but I kind of tend to bow out early and be like, I'm going to leave with this pleasant feeling I have and just keep on walking. So.
Okay.
It's just me. I don't know. My pick this week, I was working on the segue and it totally went to crap. My pick this week is me being super obvious too. I'm going to pick up X-Men number 17.
All right, we're on brand this week.
We're on brand, right? Ash has got the Avatar. I got the X-Men. Apparently, Agretsuko is Maki's thing up and down. So apparently, we're shocking no one this week. But yeah, it's cool because look, we just came off the Ten of Swords, and Cyclops and a large chunk of the X-Men proper kind of got into a disagreement with Professor Xavier and the High Council and said, hey, we're out. We're not going to do this anymore. We're going to go over to the other island and we're going to do what the X-Men do, which is be superheroes. It's interesting because I'm curious how this has ramifications for the rest of the series, because of course they made a big deal out of the island nation of Krakoa. And now we're finding out in this issue, which I think is the direct springboard from the next from that storyline, that Cyclops, Storm, and Marvel Girl, aka Jean Grey, are going to assist the Shi'ar Empire, and apparently they're being called to answer. So yeah, I think this is going to be a fun, just old school X-Men story. If you read the issue of I think it was House of X, where they took on the Sentinel that was flying near the sun, and that was felt like the Saturday morning X-Men cartoon. I feel like this is what this is going to be, so I'm all for it. All right, some more comics coming out this week, right? Because not everything we talked about is what's at your local comic shop. So Anime is here, and she's going to show you what's available at your local comic shop, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about all sorts of stuff and things. Here we go.
A new month means an all-new Previews catalog is here. Let's take a look at what's arriving in comic shops this April and available to pre-order now. If Earth has the Avengers, where does that leave the rest of the galaxy? From Immortal Hulk's Al Ewing comes an all-new Guardians of the Galaxy series featuring a roster of new and old favorites. In the aftermath of a nuclear holocaust, the survivors eke out an existence in the radioactive wastelands. A name is whispered among the survivors. Joe Glow, aka Geiger. A champion for the weak, the hero a rebuilding world needs, Jeff Johns and Gary Frank reteam for the sci-fi series Geiger from Image Comics. Magic the Gathering comes to comics this spring from Boom Studios. Jed McKay and Ig Guerra team up for an epic fantasy adventure in Magic Issue Number 1. Also, the Ghost Rider revs up the Hell Cycle one more time to join Mezco's 112 Collective, featuring an innovative light-up function, removable flames, and sound features. The Ghost Rider will come to life on your shelf with a vengeance. Doom! Yonan Vasquez cult classic character Invader Zim returns in this all-new series of deluxe action figures, each loaded with accessories and mini characters. Everyone loves Snake Eyes, but what about G.I. Joe's other ninja? Storm Shadow may fall on the more sinister side of Joe lore, but he still makes for one of the coolest characters in the figure line. Suited up in stark white, Cobra Commander's top assassin comes to 3-0. Check out the G.I. Joe Storm Shadow 1/6 scale figure. This may just be the definitive Storm Shadow collectible for any G.I. Joe fans. Of course, that's not everything. Every month, Previews features over 300 pages of toys, games, comics, and more. Simply head on over to PREVIEWSworld.com/catalog and discover for yourself. Set foot on Previews World.
And of course, that was not anime. I don't know what I'm talking about, guys. I'm so sorry. Look, the Previews catalog came out this week. It is the Previews catalog for February. Items dropping in April. And
this is going so well.
So well. And you know, I feel bad because Maki's clear enthusiasm for hearing Anamia. Like Mia. Right. It's like, nope, not Mia. No shade to Gretchen. Thank you, Gretchen. Gretchen every week puts up with us writing ridiculous things in the script like doom. And then she leads into it 100%. So we appreciate you, Gretchen. It's not a knock on you. But clearly not Anamia. Clearly, the Previews catalog is out this week at your local comic shop. You can pre-order all sorts of stuff in the catalog every single month. Ask your local comic shop, or as Gretchen pointed out, go to PREVIEWSworld.com/catalog. There you go. All right. Okay, so one of the big things everybody's talking about this week, I've seen a lot of people speculating about it, is the upcoming Heroes Reborn. Right? This was an old story from the 90s that Marvel did back in the day, and I guess it sounds like they're bringing it back. Some of the things I heard about is actually kind of interesting, but we're going to show you guys a trailer for Heroes Reborn, the new one by Jason Aaron and company, and when we come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. And then it'll be time for top 5. All right, let's do it.
My name is Blade. 2 weeks ago, I woke up in a world where no one's ever heard of the Avengers. Where it's like we never existed. Where Captain America died in World War II. Where Tony Stark never got trapped in a cave. Where Carol Danvers never became a captain. Where Thor never lifted the hammer. But the craziest part of all this is that even without the Avengers, this Earth still has its mightiest heroes.
All right, and that's Heroes Reborn coming to your local comic shop soon. Let your local comic shop know about that you want to pre-order, that you're interested in it. You know, I think a lot of people online were kind of like, why are they doing Heroes Reborn again? Like, I think that was that was a default reaction. The more I read about it, though, the more interesting it sounded, because it's not a regurgitation of like what they did in the late 90s. This stems out of the last Phoenix storyline they did, and the Phoenix is known for creating multiverses. And yeah, it's now we got the storyline where like one of the you get this reality that apparently Blade is the center of, which I'm also for. Yeah, right. You get this reality where all the major Avengers have never taken up the mantle. So yeah, it could be interesting. This Jason Aaron said McGinnis is a good team, and like I said, check it out at your local comic shop. That's going to be available soon. All right, top 5 time. Right, so we tried something different. Like, we're going to actually be trying something different moving forward. We did a lot of social swamp in 2020, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of like, let's talk about this thing, let's talk about that thing. But you know what? Sometimes that just bogs you down a little bit, talking about every weird controversy that comics likes to throw at you. So we're going to try to mix it up and do something fun. And because we have Maki on the show, we decided to try out something we're going to call top 5. So Ashton, you think you got this one? Can you take over?
I'm gonna wing it. Yeah.
Okay, that's all we asked for. Here we go, top 5 time.
So the pop culture crowd is a pretty opinionated bunch. So we've asked you guys to put those opinions to good use and tell us your top 5 anything, your top 5 pop culture related, nerdy, whatever it is, number it out and tell us 5 things you love in order. So we're going to dive into those and give our opinions on your opinions like nobody asked us to. Okay, so this has got no specific category. So what is this? Adam says, number 1, AMD versus Intel, DC versus Marvel, Star Wars versus Star Trek versus Lord of the Rings, eBay versus Amazon. What is this? World of Warcraft versus working and getting a life.
I think this is like his top 5 verses.
I love that things are like not related to anything though.
I think this is literally his daily struggle.
Right, 3 tornado of things.
Adam, let us know if you're in the comments, if you watch this. Like, is this your daily struggle? Is that what we're looking at? Please let us know.
All right, cool. Joe says dweebs, then dorks, then Melvins, and then nerds, and number 1 is of course geeks.
Okay, fair, respect. I don't know if I've never heard Melvins before. That must be some like.
That's hilarious. What is that?
What is that? Yeah, I don't know that one. Not a big fan of geeks because I think of like people biting heads off fishes, but
why?
What?
What?
Because it's like, wasn't that like that's what a circus freak was like? Wasn't that what they also called circus freaks? Is like geeks, and they would like do stuff like all these weird circus tricks and stuff like that. You know what? I don't like that thing.
Like, why?
Wait, did you just make that up?
I thought keep going. I'm gonna look this up.
Puma says my top 5 favorite comic book martial artists. All right, so we've gotten a category this time: Karate Kid, Richard Dragon, Bronze Tiger, Shang-Chi, and Iron Fist.
Okay. All right. I respect that.
Liam says top 5 favorite Power Rangers seasons. These are very specific. I love it. Okay, he starts with RPM, Mighty Morphin Season 2, Time Force, Mystic Force, and In Space.
I was right. Hold on. Time out before we do this. I was correct. Geek. I will never miss an opportunity to say I was right about something. Geek. The second definition: a carnival performer who performs wild or disgusting acts. There you go.
Really?
Okay, and in terms of like just the general lexicon, I would say that is not something most people know.
Okay, I mean that's fair, but it's the first thing I think of. So when I hear geek,
wow.
You think of carnies that eat live fish.
Yeah.
You know what? It works through me. I can't explain it. I don't know what to tell you, Ashton. Sorry.
I respect it. It's fine. Tony says we're gonna start at 5 and work up.
Okay.
Casey Kasem, Stanley Tucci, Leonard Nimoy, Anthony Hopkins, and Orson Welles, and he's challenged us to find out what they have in common.
So I cheated. I actually know what the answer is, but I'm going to ask you guys. I'm going to ask if anybody else knows what this is. It's okay if you don't, because I actually had no idea.
This feels like people with big noses to me. Just going off of like Leonard Nimoy and Stanley Tucci.
Well, I don't think it's people with big noses. I don't think that's the case. So it turns out that this is this guy's top 5 actors in Transformers. Every one of these people, every single one of these people has been in a Transformers movie.
Leonard Nimoy's been in a Transformers movie?
Yeah, he was in the old school animated movie back in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
And I totally forgot Anthony Hopkins was in that weird Excalibur one. Orson Welles was the voice of Unicron. Stanley Tucci was in that weird one that was, well, they're all weird, but the one that took place in China, that was also weird. And I guess Casey Kasem also, I don't know what Casey Kasem was, but I'm gonna take your word for it. So yeah, there you go. So some of the world's greatest actors.
This is the best list I've ever seen. Please don't make me read this.
Do it. I want to hear your brain explode trying to read this.
Okay, all right. Adam's list is I don't know order to read it in.
You start at the bottom and work your way up, Ashton.
So 5 is 1 and 1 is 5.
Johnny gave up on it. He's like, just
no, we're moving on. I'm making an executive decision. We're moving on.
Okay.
Albert Arrow says top 5 Lando capes. I'm so excited for this one. 1 is the solo black cape. 2 is the solo white cape. 3 is the Rise of Skywalker black cape. 4 is the Return of Jedi cape. And 5 is the Empire Strikes Back cape. I love this. I disagree.
Okay. Damn. Which one would be what would be number 1 for you?
The Empire Strikes Back. That's like the powdery blue one. That's like so regal and powerful. You're gonna say the powdery blue, like very 70s cape is the last one. Come on.
That's fair. I mean, I respect it. I feel like Lando's whole vibe is like 70s.
I was gonna say
disco apparel.
Left.
Yeah, he's all about the capes. I actually really appreciate that list. So Maki, you care to share? We got another one. Oh, here we go. Johnny Rose. I'm sorry. You want to read this?
Johnny Rose list: 1, raindrops on roses, whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles, warm woolly mittens, brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of his favorite things.
Thank you, Johnny. We appreciate it. Johnny's going to make a presence known one way or another. All right, Maki, what is your top 5? What are you going to share with us today?
If anybody, I don't know if anybody follows me, but I have quite an affinity for the color green. So I picked my top 5 green characters.
Okay.
So I have for number 5, I have Beast Boy. Love him so much. Number 4, Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, it's me. Number 3, Mike Wazowski. Mike Wazowski is so good. He's just great.
What is that from?
Monsters Inc.
Oh, okay. All right, gotcha.
So not like super nerdy. It's like Disney nerd. Okay. Number 2, Dimple from Mob Psycho 100. He's like a little ball of gas, and he's wonderful. And number 1 is Peridot from Steven Universe, because she represents me. She's just an alien who is lost and confused by humans, and I feel like that is me constantly. So those are my top 5 green characters.
All right. Okay. I like that. See, I was hoping that we would get something unique and weird and special.
Right.
All the things that are me.
That's perfect. I love that. No, I mean, like, and also just from the people watching, the people that answered on social media, I was like, I just want this to be a bunch of really weird answers, and they did not disappoint. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you very much. And yeah, we're going to keep doing this top 5 thing. I think like it hopefully will always result in some weird things and some good laughs. So Maki, I have another big question for you this week, right? So last week, a week ago, I want to say, we did a poll. It was Goku versus Sailor Moon, right? The internet, I don't know if you noticed, but I've definitely seen online people debating about this endlessly. Look, you have the hardcore Dragon Ball fans, right, who are always hardcore about everything Dragon Ball. And then you have the Sailor Moon fans who don't come off as hardcore, but they are willing to go to bat for Sailor Moon. And it really came down to who would kick whose ass. And so Ashton and I were not equipped to answer this question because we're not huge Dragon Ball fans and not really huge Sailor Moon fans. But I'm going to ask you, Maki. I'm hoping you have a good answer. Who do you think would win? There's no wrong answer, by the way.
So I am a moderate fan of both of these.
Okay.
And I don't know, I'm going to say just based on just straight up femme power, I'm going to say Sailor Moon is taking this in her like fully transformed form. I don't know what it's called. Eternal Sailor Moon. I think Sailor Moon has this, and I think with the power of her friends, because when you think about it, Goku has friends, but like Goku, do they really like him? He's kind of like the source of all of their like problems, right? And I feel with Sailor Moon, like her squad is like there for her, and if some shit went down, I'm calling Mars coming up in there. Jupiter's got her with the bow and arrow. We've got Venus. I think Sailor Moon's got this, honestly.
Yeah. No, hey, look, I feel like wasn't the one of the special powers of Sailor Moon friendship or something like that? Like, I think this is
the power of friendship.
The power of friendship. Like, I might have made that up, but it sounded right. So
it sounds appropriate.
It sounds appropriate. Like, I just to be a troll, I feel like I also want to say Sailor Moon, but also I'm not even being that much of a troll because I haven't watched a lot of Dragon Ball. I was joking last week. I've seen more Sailor Moon than I've seen Dragon Ball. But like, which is kind of surprising, I think, for people. But like, it seems like they always wreck shop. Like the whole Sailor squad, like seems pretty powerful, and it seems like, and that's not to say that the Dragon Ball characters don't destroy things, but yeah, I like the idea of Sailor Moon being able to beat those characters. I think that's where I'm coming from, basically. Ashton, you want to change your answer anytime?
No, I said Sailor Moon last week. I'm sticking with Sailor Moon. I have very limited, like, my exposure to Dragon Ball Z is like the Street Fighter style games that were a thing on like PS2. So
right.
Dragon Ball Z Budokai.
There you go. Hey, Johnny, can you throw up the poll one more time? Yeah,
no, we really close.
It's very close, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Is like the both fandoms are equally intense and equally dedicated, and I think this is a perfect example of that right there. Like the only reason like it's not it's like right down the middle is just because a couple of Sailor Moon fans just didn't hear about it yet. So yeah. How long is that poll going until? Is it still running, or is it going to be over when?
No, it's over. It ran for like 5 or 6 days last week.
Okay, all right, cool. So there you go, guys. Hey, Sailor Moon fans, you had your chance, but you let the Dragon Ball Z fans get a hold of it.
Wondered.
So, speaking of verses, I gotta know, and this is a new one. The Kong Godzilla trailer dropped this past week. Did you guys see it yet?
No.
You haven't seen it? Oh man, okay.
I have an opinion on it though. Ask me a question.
All right, here comes the hot take. What's the opinion? What's going on here?
I don't know. Ask me a question. I'll make up a probably inflammatory opinion.
Well, I mean, look, both of these characters have been around
for a long
time. So, regardless of whether or not you've seen the trailer, who do you think would win, Kong or Godzilla?
Do you know what? I think Godzilla would win, but also like he's got the little like T-Rex arm situation. I think that would be a drawback.
He doesn't have the reach. He doesn't have the wingspan.
He doesn't have the reach, right? I don't. Based on like no knowledge at all, I think Godzilla would win. Also, I desperately need to know why King Kong is like suddenly 4 times the size he originally was.
I was like, I actually was talking to a friend of mine about this. The Skull Island movie. Actually, I think I was talking to you about this. The Skull Island movie takes place years ago, so Kong has gotten much bigger and much older at this point. So that's kind of there's an explanation for that. Like he's got to be.
You did tell me this because I was like, "Oh, Tom Hiddleston's gorgeous, whatever," and you were like, "That's not the point."
No, Tom Hiddleston was not the star of Skull Island. I'm sorry to tell you.
Tom Hiddleston was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston and Allison Brie. No, Brie Larson. Sorry. Yeah. There you go. I was getting my Brees mixed up or something. I don't know. What about you, Maki? Who do you choose in this fight?
I also know zero about both of these characters. But I know that Godzilla has a mecha form, and as far as I know, King Kong does not have a mecha form. So just going on that, I think Godzilla is just gonna turn into the mecha form and just be like, what's good?
Okay.
That's not going to happen, but that's what I want to happen.
Don't say never, because there's already rumors and like people have been, people go through these trailers with a fine-tooth comb, and everybody is swearing right now. People are swearing that Mechagodzilla is actually in the movie.
Oh, so, really? Really?
Yeah. So, like a game changer. Mike's interest in the movie went up 100%. There you go.
Yes. Put mechs in anything, then I will be there.
That is a very fair point. I completely totally support you on that one. All right. So, okay, we're almost out of here, guys. But, Ashton, who's the comic shop shout out this week?
This week's comic shop shout out goes to Comics TNT in Tustin, California. And this comes from Tracy Edmonds. And she's included some really wonderful art about it. If you would like us to shout out your shop, find us on social media at PREVIEWSworld. Tag your shop if they have a handle. If not, just leave their name. And also use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We will find your shop. We will shout them out on the show and give them love, because we love all comic shops equally.
All right. And actually, I just want to point out that the TNT stands for Tunes and Toys, which I thought was kind of amusing. So, yeah. And apparently that was her son drew that a long time ago, and they still use that piece of artwork.
That is quite
or her kid. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but yeah. Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty neat. Like, that was definitely an attention grabber. So shout out to them. Thank you very much. And speaking of shout outs, Maki, what do you want to shout out before we kick off here?
I guess I will shout out my local comic shop, Third Eye Comics.
All right.
Because they're awesome, and not because I work there.
Well, I say that I think that's a ringing endorsement if you want to work there. How about that?
Yes.
There you go. And also want to remind you guys to definitely check out Maki's Vampirella 18 cover, which will be dropping March 10th. And also keep an eye on PREVIEWSworld.com, because Maki's going to be doing a cool little interview with me where she just kind of explores the actual photo shooting process for us. For those of you who aren't familiar with cosplay and how it works, I don't think there's anybody on PREVIEWSworld who doesn't understand that at this point. But in case you are, or just if you're just interested in art in general, which is really what this is supposed to do, definitely check that out. That'll be dropping in the month of February in time for Black History Month. So there you go. I also want to remind people real quick, Diamond Select Toys actually has updated a commerce site. So if you get a chance, head on over to diamondselecttoys.com. They got a cool little layout, and like everything that you see, every week we do our toy video with Natasha. Natasha features a bunch of DST stuff. So now you can go to Diamond Select Toys' website and check it out for yourself and make a purchase if you want to. So definitely keep an eye on that. Look at that, Godzilla, big exclamation right on the front page, because they got that Godzilla license. Lucky them. There's a reminder: like, follow, and subscribe. Look, that's how the internet values our worth in 2021. So definitely, look, I've said it before. You can hate subscribe. It's okay. Like, you can hate subscribe us just so you can yell at us and be like, you guys don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z. And you know what? We'll take it on the chin. That's fine. Whatever. And that's it this week for PREVIEWSworld Weekly. Maki, thank you very much for hanging out with us.
Thank you for having me on. Had a great time.
All right, cool. And I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
And we will see you guys at the Spinner Rack. Catch you next week.
Don't forget that you can catch PREVIEWSworld Weekly streaming live every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific at PREVIEWSworld on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.